Did you hear the gospel? Jesus was passing through the middle of Samaria and Galilee, right in the midst of pagan territory. Not Jerusalem, the holy city. He was headed there. But in order to get there, he had to go through Samaria and Galilee, the place that was unclean. But what is he trying to say to us? I believe Jesus is trying to say, I am walking through the very heart of life. The place where unbelief, where doubt, where sin, where the real struggles of life happen each day. Sounds like a familiar place to me. A very familiar place. It's the place where most of us, I suspect, spend most of our hours. Struggling with our belief and unbeliefs, our doubts, our sinfulness, the sinfulness of others, usually more sins of others, right? The real struggles of life and all the uncertainties. But Jesus teaches us that if we are going to be faithful to the God of Jesus, then we need to cross the boundaries, and we need to pass through those boundaries in our own life. We can't avoid them. We can't avoid the boundaries of prejudice and bias and hatreds. But we need, if we are truly going to be disciples of the Lord and followers of the Lord, apostles of the Lord, Christians, then we need to be able to bring physical, emotional, and spiritual healing to those within our lives that surround us, our families, our community, and our world. So we have a tremendous mission to accomplish, don't we? Because the Lord entrusts us with that. And sometimes we may not want to do that, just like a little baby screaming, no, I don't really want to do that. Do I have to do this? Yes, this is what we have to do. If there's going to be a connection between what we do here and what we do out there, and how we live out there. So the 10 lepers reflect our lives on the outside of God's grace. The reality of life, any day in our lives. It's not always a clean and neat life. Like the lepers, sometimes we just keep our distance from God because we think God doesn't really want to embrace us, or God doesn't really want to heal us, or God somehow is standing off from us because maybe we don't fit the right category. But our call as a community of faith is to make salvation a possibility. I like the one theologian's definition of salvation as whole making, because we need to make whole people's lives. And there's all different parts to our lives. We need to make whole our own lives and those of others, even those that we tend to judge unclean. So our job as Christ's servant is to offer a new state of life to those on the outside, the unclean. And then, this is the tough part. We need to help them to return to that wholeness of life. And we need to do that by our forgiveness, by our love, by our care, by our compassion, and by our mercy.